Hi, good morning to all of you. So this is a doubt clearing session for all the sessions from all the way up to session 12. Okay, that's the whole content that I would wanted to cover. In my presentations, it's up to session 10. But as such, in the PPT wise, in the recordings, it will be all the way up to from session 12, because actually session 4 being an important topic that I had covered in three parts. Okay, so yeah, Vamsi, you can go ahead. If you have any doubts, you can ask, as of now. Then I will start briefing as of now. Okay. So are you feeling comfortable? Are you able to understand the whole content?
Yeah, Sudheendrara.
Yeah. So you are able to go through all the way up to session 12, S12?
Sorry, Sudhindra, I didn't get that much of time to cover those up to 12, but whatever that I have learned so far, I'm able to, uh,
Practice and do all the things.
yeah.
So till where you have covered as of now?
10, the 10.
Oh, 10. Okay. Okay. So you
I, I'll cover those 11 and 12 sessions today. Uh,
sure. We can also continue taking those questions. Hi, I think this is Kavita, right? Okay, her audio is not yet connected. Okay, just a minute. Let us see. Okay. So yeah. You have covered up to session 10. Okay, fine.
yeah, nine and of something. Yeah.
Okay, so you're able to follow. There is record all the content wise, everything is okay, right? So you're able to understand all the things. Okay, good. So yeah, Sandhya, I think you are connected by audio. You can hear us. You can just type chat because I think your mic is not enabled. So you can just confirm whether you're able to hear me. Connecting audio has come. Yeah. Yeah. Sandhya, so I think this is either Kavita or Sandhya. Who is this? Actually, can you just type in whatever whoever has joined? Sandhya or Kavita? I don't know. Can you please type in the chat? Can you please confirm your name? Sandhya Kavita. It's written as Sandhya and Kavita. So can you please confirm your name in the chat? Oh, your name is Sandhya Kavita. Okay. So I don't know. I will maybe I'll use Kavita if it is okay for you. Okay. I'll just go ahead and Kavita, can you please brief me? What is the status at up to where you have gone through and everything is up to whatever the content that you have gone through, whether there are any specific doubts. Of course, I will summarize all the sessions, in today's session. But yeah, you can go ahead and either okay, she has left. Hi, Naveen. Good morning. Hi, Naveen. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So, can you brief me? What is the status? Till where you have seen the audios and anything that you want to share it upfront? Then I will start the session with the content. Naveen, can you please tell me till where you have watched or seen the sessions content, whatever you are ready with, your questions, if any, Naveen? Okay, I think Naveen is not responding. Naveen? Okay, I think I will just, Vamsi, do you want to share something? Any questions or anything as such as of now? Nothing?
I have two queries, Sudhindra.
Okay.
It's very small, I think.
No, that's okay. Yeah. There is nothing small. Okay. You can ask me what anything. Yeah.
Uh, Suppose we have list, Sudhindra,
Okay.
with the elements of 50, 10, 10, 10.
Okay. These are the 50, 10, 10, 10. So there are four elements. First one is
Yes.
50, 10, 10, 10. Right.
Yeah. Suppose if I want to, suppose I write a code like a list of remove 10.
Okay.
So what element will be delete first? I mean, there are three tens in that list, right?
Yeah, just a minute. So as I understand, what you are trying to say is that suppose I have element of 50, 10, 10, and 10. You are saying if I ask it to remove 10, which 10 will be removed? That is the
Yes,
question, right?
index.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, here actually the value by identification you cannot remove. Well, of course, you can write your program where it can identify element which has a value equals to 10 and you can remove it. That is if else condition, right?
Yeah.
But as such, you will not be seeing that possibility because you are going to delete the items by the index. Like, this indexed at 0, this is indexed at 1, this is indexed at 2, this is indexed at 3, right? So you have to remove the item 1. So item 1, whatever the value will be there, it will get removed. But if you want to remove all the values which are value equals to 10, then you have to use for loop and you have to iterate each and every item.
Hmm.
Then, whichever the value is equals to 10, you can delete that particular item.
Okay.
Understood, Vamsi?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
that is how you can, because, in any, actually I should use this becomes tuple. So I should use these brackets. So this is a list. So these are, indexed by the index, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So maybe, if you want, we can quickly take the Jupyter notebook and we'll try. Let's see. I'll just start the Jupyter notebook and I will stop sharing. Okay. I'll share it again. Okay. So, where is the share? Okay. Share my screen, right? Chrome homepage. Okay. You can see the screen. Please confirm.
yeah, Sudhindra.
You can see, right? Okay. I'll just open a fresh notebook. Okay. Okay, let me see. Any participants who are waiting? No, nobody is waiting. Okay. Yeah. So you can see the screen. Then I will just okay. Yeah. So you are saying, let's say list. Maybe numbers is equals to. Let's create a list. You want 50, comma 10, comma 10, comma 10, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm creating. Now, how do I remove? Any, can you tell
Yeah.
me?
Numbers dot remove of 10.
Yeah, numbers dot remove, right?
Yeah.
So you are saying 10?
Yes, 10, 10.
No, 10 will not work. You have to put index right here. Oh, okay. So you have to put 10, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's try this. So I think it will remove all the things. Now if I type numbers,
But it will populate, I think, 50, 10,
first
10.
one. Okay. Yeah, correct. So yeah, this is, yeah. So it has deleted this first 10. So
Oh,
whatever the it comes inside the loop, it is deleting this first particular 10 that has appeared, right? So maybe we can try out different iterations so that you can see. See, all these are, you have to try out and figure out where it is. But
yeah.
usually this kind of, will not be required because, technically your data analysis doesn't require this kind of situation, you are removing one of the elements from one particular place, unlikely, but yeah. So let me redo it. Let me rerun this, then we can, but still you can figure out where it is coming. Yeah, the position you can figure it out, where you can, which position it is getting removed from. As I understand, it must be the first appearance of 10. Yeah, first appearance of 10. This will be removed. Okay, so that is how it is. But yeah, you can also remove one particular item by let me go through my summary. I will just show it to you. See, again, I'm saying that I don't remember exact syntax at any point of time. I use, nowadays it becomes so quick with the ChatGPT. You don't need to be really worried about how, which code, what to be generated. It's very effective. I use always ChatGPT, I don't waste my time for any of the new codes. And of course, in today also I had kept that, as a query, but that's okay. How to remove specific item from the list of
For that we
Python.
have pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop
No,
up.
pop will, okay, let me see, Python with index. Okay. So yeah, pop, correct. So you can remove with that, right? Correct. So for example, see, it gives you all this, right? Delete. There is also a indexation removal. Alternatively, you can use delete statement. This item you can use, but this is actually a better way rather than deleting this item like this. What you have figured out is correct, that if you are trying to remove one particular item which is having multiple numbers, so you will always get the confusion where the number is getting removed. Ideally, you should I would prefer using this method,
Delete. Okay.
delete. Pop also usually I don't prefer. I always prefer this indexation delete. I know which item I am trying to handle with, and exactly I will be removing by that.
Okay.
But it all eventually it all depends on what application, in what logic code. There are multiple options that you have. You can always use them based on. And as of literally speaking, I don't use that much of. But yeah, uh, ChatGPT generates. But you have to understand the logic. Okay, what does this pop do? What does this delete statement do? If you understand all the things, it becomes much more easy for you to the generated code to be understanding how like for example here, this is Java program, but yeah. So what is this, what is this statement, all that can be understood only if you are gone through all the basics. That is why that basic content is very, very important. Okay. Yeah, Vamsi, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll just quickly go through the content wise, quickly, whatever we have covered in all the up to sessions now. If you want to stop anywhere, you can stop me and ask the questions also, because limited number of people are there. So this, last session also we discussed about this. We tried to talk of various kinds of data types that are, primarily you would be managing, the basic data types to be Boolean, integer, float, point. That's what we will be using it for different numbers. And in the strings, we store all the string content. Based on that, in Python, we have topped up, advanced data types, which are lists, tuples, and dictionaries. These are the various types of things that are available to us. You can use it for based on your requirement, whatever is appropriate for you. So popular thing that we use usually commonly is this dictionaries. Okay, dictionaries is a very common thing that usually My mouse. Okay, it's coming. Okay, it has come. So usually the common thing that we are using is the dictionaries. Most of the times in most of the Python becomes, the key becomes much more easy to handle rather than, the index. So most of the times we would be using dictionaries. One powerful feature of the Python is you can create nested. What do you mean by that? Inside the list, you can have multiple dictionaries. Inside the dictionary, you can have further dictionaries. You can have all the combinations inside a particular thing, right? So in fact, in some of the data projects, when you start watching, when you start doing the projects, you will come to know that you might be having dictionary inside a dictionary. Like for example, here, this is a key, a name is there, and we can have something like, a list. Like for example, when one of the projects that, mini project that we see it there, we talk of a student grades, right? You can have grades as a list for particular student, right? So the nesting is allowed. Okay. So that gives us the powerful way that you can use it. And of course, you would be required to do some typecastings, like, where you would be required to convert some strings into integers or strings into float, and these are the common things that you would be required to do as a function. And of course, you will also be required to do some operations like adding, subtracting. These are for the numbers. And for the strings, adding and extracting a particular characters, all that, as slicing will be required, appending and extracting a particular number of characters. All that is, you will be required as a part of any data manipulation that you are going to do. So as a precaution, you should always, when your code becomes lengthier, it becomes difficult for you. So you have to use meaningful variable names based on that variables, how you are going to use it. Okay. Keep a track of all the data types, and, because it's a dynamic typecasting. So in Python, it's not that it will get compiled. If you are reassigning integer to float, float to integer, all that is possible. So sometimes, that could lead to certain problems. So you have to be careful with the data type that you are trying to use. So always try to make sure that you are using an appropriate data type for whatever the data that we are trying to utilize. And if you are confused, you make sure that you typecast it, and the data is always compatible between the various types. Then in session 3, we talked of control structures. That's about if, else, and else if. And there is also in Python, we have something called else if, ELIF, right? So this is a different kind of structure. If, else if, and finally else. That is the sequence in which we write the code, and it executes one by one, right? First, if it is satisfied, all the conditions inside the if get executed, nothing in the else if, nothing in the else. But suppose if condition fails, it goes to else if, elif, and sees if that condition is satisfied. It executes those blocks of code. How do we know which block of code? After else if, we had in the end, we had a colon. When we press enter, it comes with a one single tab. So all the commands which are having one particular tab spaced from that else if statement will be executed. So then there is something called else. That is the final statement in both the conditions. If that is not satisfied, if there are any conditions, if anything that has to be run, we always keep it in else. Then there is something called loop. We have a for loop and while loop. These are two different kinds of loop. For loop is used for fixed number of iterations, while loop is based on conditional exit, right? So that's how we use while loop. There are two more statements, which are break and continue statement. And break makes the whole that whole loop to come out of. Continue will skip that particular loop, one iteration on that particular iteration. Of course, if you have any confusion on that, please watch this session 3 detailed way. You will understand what I'm talking of. If in case if you miss again, always you can ask me, if you have doubts. And then there is something called a pass statement, which can be used for a temporary measure, because some of these statements, else if you write, it will not get executed. It will lead to errors until unless there is a statement to execute. As of now, you have not decided what statement to execute, then usually we type pass at this point of time, and maybe later point of time you can add that whatever the code that you want to write. So
Sudhindra,
control, yeah,
sorry
go ahead.
to you. Are you populating any displays? I mean,
Oh, sorry, I have not displayed. Oh, that is gone there. Okay, sorry. I think I have shared the screen, but that is okay. I'll go ahead and stop the share screening and again share it again. Sorry. Yeah, this happens. Yeah. Yeah, so of course we are still in the session 2 only. So there is a, yeah, this is the this already we had already discussed, in the last session also, these two parts, but I'm trying to summarize it again so that you people understand the things with much better way, right? Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay. um yeah, so that's okay. Very limited number of people are there. Yeah. So yeah, you can see the screen, right, Vamshi?
yeah, Sudhindra.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll just open up my slides. Yeah. So we did about these two parts in the last session itself. That is session 2 and session 3 summary. But yeah, I'm trying to re-summarize. That is while loop, for loop, and break and continue, and then pass. So, you have to master these, control structures. That's how that gives the power, how, your code, because, there are two things. Conditional statement gives you that that particular condition, what are the lines of code that needs to be executed, whereas the repetitive task based on certain number of conditions will be done with the help of for and while loop, right? That's why it's very important that you practice these. Okay, then the fourth part, fourth session, I covered about functions, modules, packages, right? So in this, I was trying to brief you in the last class. We went up to certain level, and after that, since you people had not gone through the content, I went ahead and I told you we'll cover in the next session, right? So here, what did we do? We learned about different, what is a function basically. Function makes your code modular. What do I mean by that? It's a reusable block of code that, for a specific task, you write a specific function. I had given you, an example of, how a person in the office has different tasks, like, a Xerox, a peon who is serving tea, a peon who is serving, helping us to get a photocopies, we have to give him a original copy, and we have to ask him to return a photocopied along with the original, or whatever you want. The same way, functions also take certain inputs. It does all the processing inside the function, and it returns certain output. That's what is the syntax. We have to use def as the keyword for the function, and you have to write the function name. Inside, there are different kinds of parameters. We discussed about positional and keyword based arguments. So it's not very much required to be exactly, nowadays you don't need to buy hard the things, right? Because everything is available for you. You can generate the code, but you should understand how it is functioning. If it is not functioning as per your expectation, you should be able to debug. That is more important at this point of time in all your job profiles that you are going to wherever you're going to apply. Nowadays, the coders, as I have been saying that, that future is gone. You have to be more like a debugger trying to figure out where the problem is, because that is the key function as of now. Of course, some of the automation tools are there for that, but still there are enough opportunities for anyone to get function job roles for debugging and testing. That's still I still think that it will continue to be there. And with the help of ChatGPT, your life will becomes much more easier, but that caution is always there. It understands what you speak with a limited understanding, because it's after all artificial intelligence. It's not the human intelligence, like the way that you ask a question the opposite person. It all depends on, the same question. If you ask 10 different people, you will get 10 different answers, right? Like, for example, what is your age? If you ask a 5 years old kid, he will give you different number. If a old age person will give a different answer. And similarly, what is life? If you ask, each person will have his own answer. So artificial intelligence, based on its own understanding with the background, it will give you certain output, but you should be able to utilize it for your appropriateness, right? So how do we call the function? Just you have to call the function name with arguments in the lines of code. That's how you can call the function. Like here is an example where we define the greet, and you can call that function like, I'm printing greet allies, right? That's the way that we are going to use the function. So any specific task that you want to put, you always keep a function. In the last class also, I had shown you that I did have extensive code that I had written for some other, this time maybe I will show you something else for somebody else that I had written. So you should always write specific functions so that, it becomes, okay, I'll just stop share and share my code. Where is it? Okay, share. Maybe I'll share the entire screen. That's okay. Yeah. So, you have to write specific functions, like, for example, here, like, fetch candle data, get current price. You should always, all this is part of one particular function, right? So, this is a while loop, infinitely running up to stop time, run once. By default, it should at least run once. So based on the logic, you have to develop how you are doing your code, right? This is a very small function based on certain conditions. We are drawing something, this is a very small code of just 200 lines. You can, that is the helpful with the Python, that, you write very good functional code. In fact, the smallest code one of my customer had asked was it, I did not charge him, but just 10 lines of code. Whatever functions that he wanted, I could just do it within just 10 lines of code. He was surprised that it could be done with such a small lines of code with the Python. Because that is because of a lot of inbuilt libraries that Python has. Just use that library and do the functionality that you want. Okay, so that is the power of function. So when you go ahead, and there are a lot of modules that are available, like, these are inbuilt modules: math, random, OS, file systems, handling, all that is inbuilt functions are there. How do we import that? We have to use some keyword called import, use the module name. Then your compiler checks whether that module is an inbuilt library or an installed library. Then it will load that particular module and gives you all the function access. How do we use that? Module dot function name. This is how you can use that particular thing, right? So there are different ways in which you can use. By default, this is the one of the ideal ways that you can use math dot square root, because that makes much more easy. The other way to do is from math import. If you do sqrt, then sqrt itself can be directly used. That is the second way in which you can use a particular function inside the module. You can go through this session 4. That's why it took a lot of time for me to explain in the session 4. This content, I had taken it in 3 parts. Session 4, part 1, Of course, session 2 had certain issues of people logging in and all that. So that's why we had delayed that session. Very little bit of content I could cover. And finally, I had taken one more session to cover up the whole content of session 4, right? Then, we have something called a library that you can package, that you can create, that we call it as a library. And, public libraries, somebody else has posted, like, NumPy or, data frames, uh, mm, all that, different pandas library uses, data frame is used in pandas. Like one of the projects, you can see that I have used pandas_ta. There are different libraries, you can use it, you can install it with the help of pip install. So packaged index, that's how you can install with the pip install. Okay, so you use this command, then it follows the same thing. You can import numpy. If you can also say just import numpy, then you have to say instead of np, you have to use numpy.array. Instead of that, standardly, we can abbreviate it to as NP. Then it becomes very small, for you, whatever the words you want to use, you can use it with much ease. So standardly for NumPy, we use NP. For matplotlib, you can, there are different libraries. You can abbreviate it to whatever is appropriately, you can quickly remember, right? So pandas you usually define by PD, like that. You can plot, you can put it as PLT, some abbreviations you can use it so that it becomes much more easy. You can create your own package with the help of, init .py, both sides underscore is there. That is the whole package that, you can always run whenever you install this package. These are the different modules that are there. And we did, in that example, try to create something called greeting 1, greeting 2, some modules we tried there. We saved that as a mymodule.py, and that you can import it with the help of import my module, right? That's the thing, there. If you want to this my package, if you have given a package name, you can use this. Or else you can, if you are directly using the this particular Python code itself, just directly you can use import directly that particular module also. Okay, that is how you can use your that was a session 4 summary.
Sudheendra,
Yeah, sure.
somebody wants to use our own module. How can they have to install PIP, right?
Yeah, so see, there are two ways. One, that GitHub, that is public library that anybody is trying to share. Like, in fact, when we started using, for example, that weather, you must have seen that weather app, right? Weather, I'll just tell you what kind of thing that I had discussed. Maybe here itself it is there. No. Open weather, right? Yeah, open weather module. So there, somebody has created all the things and made it available for us. And that's what I did. You remember that we went here, maybe GitHub. I'll just show it to you for your quick thing. Like, for example, this also I had shown during the video recordings, multiple of them. But yeah, you can go through this, and maybe I'll just sign in. I do have a GitHub account. Where is it? Okay. Of course, I have very limited. Okay. Maybe I have to open up my email ID to confirm. Okay. This code is expiring. Okay, I'll just open up my Gmail. Okay. GitHub has not yet come. The mail has not yet come. As of now, it has not come. I have to wait. Yeah, so basically, what happens, just I'm trying to log in there, but look, for example, you can take any example. Maybe I'll just show it to you different one. Okay, Shunya API. Okay, just you search for Shunya API. This is, application programming interface that we talked of. So you can see that you go there, API documentation. It will go open up, and inside that, you have Python. You open that, it comes to the, this is a document, how you can use, etc. And where is it? Okay, tools, APIs. Okay, that's the documentation. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. So if you search like that, it comes to GitHub. So you search there. So it will come, Shunya developer. This is the Shunya. That is one of the, brokering house which is giving this, and their own API is available for us. So you can see that multiple, JS is JavaScript, AMI brokers code. There are different. This is Java is there. So you can see this is the Python. This is the Python modules that are there. So once this is there, you have to create the same way as this. How to build your thing, or how to use your API login. These are the called help. README. First, you have to create the README file. Then, what are the functions that are there? Script masters. How you can use them. All that you have to create this README, so that any person see. Vamsi, it's like this. You have created your own code, you understand your code, right? But a person who has not seen your code before, how does he is going to start? He needs certain help, guide, all that, right?
Basically,
So
this is kind of a demo, right?
no, this is not a demo. This is README is basically how to start with, and what are the things that, if you go through this README, it will start with how we can use the library, what is the purpose of this library, etc. Okay, just I will maybe go through the head part, then you will see. Okay, so this is a README file. It starts like this: Shunya API. API used to connect Shunya OMS. So what is this Shunya OMS? This is nothing but, this is where, if you don't understand, again, open up there, and this is a Shunya by Finvacia, is the first commission-free broker where you can buy and sell the stocks or something like that. You have multiple brokers, like, Finvacia is one of the broker. They have this app to be Shunya. Okay, they call it as Shunya. There is also, I had talked about Smart API. There is also Upstock, different modules that are there. When we go inside that, how we can use that particular module, that you have to write it in. This is somebody has physically written, all this is a Python wrapper or connector to REST API and WebSocket of Shunya. These are the two kinds of modules which are available from the Shunya, which can be used. Okay, they have created a particular modules, how we can use all that, right? But actually how you can connect them is based on this documentation. Okay, if you go through, it will be complete details. You have to post it directly, the same way as I had talked about open weather API, where you can exchange the information. There are a different, this is a basic link, based on which if you post it, you will keep on getting the reply. But in a real time, they have also developed an API of their own, where instead of having all these, complicated things to be written by us, they have directly given different functions. Like, for example, I can say, this is the API login. I have to say user, password, it's much simpler for you to use these lines of code, and directly you can log into your broker account directly through application, right? They will give you full details. What are the things? how you can log out. So each and every session, each and every function, you have to explain what that function is going to take it as input, what that function is going to give output, so that the user understands and calls the functions appropriately. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, Vamshi. Yeah, so that's how you can create your modules, and that should have multiple functions. Each function, based on user requirement, you have to give how that function will be called, what it is going to return, and in that return, what is this description is, what are that returns, how you can use it for different purposes. Like for example, if I go anywhere, like maybe data, when I get this is the data, right? Status, and this is a successful output. You have to give it like this. Then a user will understand this is the stock called ACC equity, and this is the trading symbol. That is how you are going to get data like this. Then you can use this, and how to pass this, you can take a help of ChatGPT and say that I'm going to get the output like this. I want to, let's say, only worried about maybe what is the quantity or reject. This is the order status. I want to see whether the status has been rejected or accepted, what kind of thing that has been done. I want to process only this. Right? Like, simple failure response also will have like this. So you have to figure out all that. You have to figure out in your project based on the output that is going to be there. So this becomes very, very important for your own module when you are trying to write. See, most of us, me, including me, I have written a lot of programs. This is actually a boring part, literally speaking. But if your function has to be useful for the others, see, you should make them understand how they can use your functions, right? So you have to write this README, then only they will allow you to post it here, right? Otherwise, always you can create your own modules and you can use them on your own. But if you want to make it as a public library, public should know how that function is going to work. So these are the basic requirements that you need to fulfill for making that library to be public. Okay. Vamsi, is it clear?
Yes, Sudheendra.
Yeah, okay. So that's, you can create your own package and publish also. And in fact, at least I know a couple of people who out of their passion, created these kind of packages, and it could be any language. It could be C, it could be, VB, it could be Python, it could be, Fortran, it could be MATLAB. One of my friend, he joined Mathematica based on this. He created his own codes, but you have to follow all the systematic things on the GitHub. He posted there, and he himself got the call from, possible clients who wants to hire a software programmer. So that kind of opportunities also will come in, because they will come to know you are, in fact, if you go through nowadays profile, they will ask you should have your own GitHub profile. What are the codes that you have written? Everything, because as a company, you can't afford until unless it is a very limited functions or limited things. But as a bigger company, when you're trying to write your code, the documentation becomes very, very important, because the next person, see, as a company, there needs to be always a continuity. A person comes in and goes out, but whatever the functions that, whatever the modules that he has written, if other person can't use it, then whatever the work that you have done is useless. It could be 1 year, 2 year, 5 years in a company. So that's why they always ask you whether, nowadays it becomes, most of the software companies do ask for whether you have a GitHub profile. That's where they get the feeling that whether your documentation is thorough or not. All that, that is for an employment. But if you're a freelancer, of course, that kind of thing is not there. It all depends on the customer requirements. If you're able to offer, that's how usually I do. I do most of the things on a freelancing way, that I write my own code for the customer requirements. I don't prefer publishing my codes on GitHub because the customers want their codes to be, only made available to them. Yeah.
Privacy.
Yeah. So that all depends on what kind of projects you take up. And of course, when you are trying to work in a company, they won't allow you to
Yeah.
publish those codes into the because of your own property. Okay, then we go ahead and in the session 5 content, we learned about working with data. We just you have asked the question, Vamshi, so about lists, adding, removing, accessing elements. See, these are very very basic things which you should understand. We should systematically know what are the options that are there, how you can use them. But in the code, you generate it with just ChatGPT, the way that I just showed in the beginning. You generate the code and you can always use it. But see, the structure of the course is in such a way that I always tell this, the power of this education is that, you will come to know what are the things that are there. Otherwise, you will never come to know, okay, maybe it might generate a dictionary, it might generate, you will never understand, right? But when you go through a systematic structured course, that's where you get a powerful thing in that sense. What are the things that are available to you? What is the exact syntax? How you can use them? All that you will be able to cover. Right here, we talked of list and list comprehension, where you can add, remove, and one particular accessing one particular element by using the index, all that, right? You can add multiple items, remove, and lists are very efficient, and it's not resource consuming. It depends on the data size. Whatever is appropriate, you can use list, you can use dictionaries, and you can use sets. But efficient one is the list among all of them. For the large data sets, lists are always better. But sometimes using dictionaries is much better, because the key and value pair, that gives you a very powerful feature in accessing the data with much more easy, rather than iteratively using one particular index. Right? So, we learned about how in the dictionary, how to add particular items, updating and accessing the dictionary values, use the keyword and extract the particular value. So then in that session also, we learned about tuples and sets. These are immutables where you cannot change. And that is the fundamental difference between list and tuple. And working with sets for unique elements and set operations also we learned. These are unique things. So there cannot be any duplicates. For example, in the set, like for example, all the stock list that we have, you can always create a set instead of a list, because you might be getting a new stock name. That time, instead of adding it to the list, then it will add up, because it's not uniqueness, right? Like the way that you are asking the example 50 10 10 10, like it could be Infi, it could be HDFC Bank, all those stock symbols. When you keep on adding them, it will keep on getting accumulated. Ideally, what you should do, you should use set as unique elements, right? And tuple is basically it's a kind of a list where the values cannot be changed, right? So that is tuples are always starting with, you can define them with a normal bracket. List is that big bracket, right? That's how, lists, you have to use these brackets, this bracket. Okay, I'll just put a space. And dictionaries, Vamsi, do you remember? It's a flower bracket.
Yeah.
Right.
For
So
sets
you have to
also
use,
it's power bracket, right?
correct. Huh?
For sets also it's a cover flower bracket, right?
Correct. So there are for tuples, you have this. So it's also flower bracket. So see, if you ask me frankly, Do I remember exact syntax? No, not here, not in C. I don't remember all this, If only thing is that I just I definitely use dictionaries and lists, but sets and tuples I rarely use. You can generate them as and when. Of course, thanks to ChatGPT nowadays, it becomes much more easy, to generate all that code. So that's what I have written. We also discussed about in this session 5, I discussed about how we can use the ChatGPT for our project. I did start explaining, to use ChatGPT for our benefit in terms of project development to be accelerated. So hope, Vamsi, you have been trying with, this ChatGPT.
For what, Surendra?
For anything, just like the way that I demonstrated to you, how you can use ChatGPT for our quick thing, you remember that right
Yeah,
now this
if I
factorial.
have any doubt, I'm checking in ChatGPT.
Yeah, so you can do all this, whatever. Nowadays ChatGPT is very helpful, but do remember that it is generative AI, so it can make mistakes. To make sure that the logic that you want to execute gets executed, that is very, very important. I have seen, sometimes it ChatGPT generates the code. When I start using the code, it actually creates more trouble than writing the code from the scratch sometimes. So that's because the understanding that it gets based on whatever you have said, you have typed to it based on that, there is a completely different thing that can be led to, right? So please do explore ChatGPT. That would be accelerating your learning process as well as project executions. Then in the session 6, we talked of all the 6 projects there. What are the kinds of 6 projects that were there? Among them, we try to identify 2 of the projects based on your inputs, and of course, we will do one project for this batch 2 also separately. Apart from those 2, projects, whichever is the older recordings that we are providing. One is the algorithmic trading, and the second one is we had done e-commerce. Okay, so we will pick up one of the either healthcare, warehouse management, education, or finance. We will try to take one of these and try to do that project. It all depends on you people, the batch 2 people, which project you want. So I will just pick up one of the other projects and start there, because anyway, these 2 detailed project and with the code, everything is available for you. Yeah, so we did explore the significance of the data and API integration, and how that is very, very important in the session 6. And I introduced you to API. This is called application programming interface. There are endpoints like the link at which you can exchange the information. That is what is those are called endpoints. And how you can request the data from different website. I try to give you example of open weather API, how you can get the information, like Bangalore temperature, Kanpur temperature, different places, you can get the weather information. It all depends on your application that you are trying to develop. So there is an application programming interface which can be used, and we also learned this request library where it can exchange the information with the internet and a particular website. That is what is the request library does, right? You have to install any new library if it is not installed on your system. So some of the libraries are inbuilt in the case of our Jupyter notebook, but you can always try to import. If it says it is not available, you can always install, right? So then in that session, we also learned about how to fetch the data, and we did discuss about the basic data exploration. When the data comes in, and try to print the data, try to extract, there we try to figure out what is the temperature of Bangalore, that particular information, how to extract, I have demonstrated there. Then in the session 7, we went a little more deep dive inside that. So I tried to demonstrate with the 2 examples, Upstock API where we tried to extract the information from the upstock broker. Of course, it did not have any authentication requirement. It just extract the particular thing. In fact, whatever the code that I was showing was also written for that. I had used upstock, because that's a free version, so that which was available. And this is what I have extracted out, the complete brokers, all that, that is instrument key, whichever the key that you want, how to extract out, this is the same, that particular extraction that I had used. I have made it as a dynamic, and you can do for whatever the programming that you want specifically. So that's the two APIs I had demonstrated, so that you can understand how you can get the data from the internet and use it powerfully. Okay. Then, in the session 8, we talked of some of the relevant libraries, and how we can use it for pandas, numpy, matplotlib for plotting, scikit-learn, and scipy and seaborn. These are the libraries that most of the times we would be using in for most of our projects. I did discuss about briefly about artificial intelligence. Say basically artificial intelligence is nothing but the way that we humans think, try to analyze, that we are trying to put it into machines, right? So that intelligence that we have, like for example, if I ask you a question, what is life, right? So that is a question which our brain analyzes and tries to answer. That is that is generative AI. My brain is generating some response, right? But for example, let's say if I have to use some particular case, maybe if I talk of if I'm about to fall, I use my hand and directly use that hand support to rise, right? That is a kind of autoimmune system where you respond to the situation automatically. That's a bit of intelligence that you have. Or you do lot of things, actions with your intelligence. You use how to do it with certain input parameters are there. You use your intelligence to do certain actions. So that when you put it inside the computer, we call it as artificial intelligence. So we talked of basics of AI concepts. There is a, these are being used extensively now in various industries, especially healthcare. It's being used extensively. Finance. Nowadays, you can see that there are, at some point of time, getting a loan was very, very difficult. Nowadays, it's at your fingertips, that's where artificial intelligence has come in. It takes all the input data from the users, like maybe his spending pattern, his repaying pattern, his all that data can be analyzed, and he can be given loan in less than a 5 minute. There is no person involved. All that happens because of this artificial intelligence. And of course, there is a lot of e-commerce that you can see. Amazon recommends, kind of products that you have seen, or what are the likely products that you can purchase, the recommendations that comes in, and the database management, all the stock management, everything is happening nowadays. There is a huge amount of artificial intelligence that is being implemented. Like, for example, Amazon not only implemented artificial intelligence, even certain level of automation. You can see that one day delivery happens. That's because of, that is the way that a lot of artificial intelligence is being used there. Automation is being used there. And, key areas of artificial intelligence are machine learning, where it tries to understand the data and does certain executions. There is also, these are subsets, I had drawn it with a circle, and I try to explain you how the things are eventually going in, right? We also have something called natural language processing, then, computer vision, and then you talk of generative AI. That's the eventual thing right now. It's very, very hot. And GPT is consequence of generative AI. Okay, so we talked of overview of there is all this is getting simulated with our human brain, how our brain actually understands the data, that is the neural network. All that we did talk of around 1 hour session is there. Please try to watch that. I have explained in the basics of AI. Okay, then the next session, session 9, we talked of how to clean the data transformations, if integer is there, float, all that, if some wasted data is there, you can reduce, and some lost data or something has to be dropped, you can use appropriate commands and drop the things. And this I have explained it with data set with the Kaggle. That's where Kaggle is one of the very common source for open data sets, where a lot of white labeled data is available. There is no proprietary information that is available. Usually you should not share anything which is specific to company in the public domain. So this Kaggle is one of the sites where white label data is available for us to explore a lot of technical things. And we picked up a Titanic data set, and we tried to understand, with all these data visualization and data pre-processing steps with the help of this Titanic data set. And of course, you can use machine learning with the help of that. That's completely different story altogether. But as of now, in this course, we are not covering the machine learning, like, predicting a person, whether that person is going to be, based on his age and, the class on which he has uh, uh, came on board, whether that person is going to be survived or not. All that is part of machine learning, and you can, that's a different course altogether. Maybe we might come up quickly on a machine learning deeper course, and maybe generate UI very quickly. So let's see how that goes about. But as of now, that is out of scope for this project. This is basically a project which is basically, with the standard data set, which is not included as a great extent of machine learning. But yeah, with some amount of EI, we have covered certain things in the project, right? Yeah. So then the next one was session 10. So where I tried to explain about the projects of these two projects, algorithmic trading and e-commerce sales analysis dashboard. I try to explain what are the tools and what are the things that are required to be done in that two projects. Since Vamsi, you have gone up to here, I will end there, but up to I had taken up to session 12, but that's okay. So yeah, maybe this is the session 12. Yeah. So I think you must have gone up to here only. Session 10 means S10 is up to here, right? In basics of AI. Correct,
Yes.
Vamsi? Yeah. So these are the two more things, you can go through, and, that's where we start off with the project. This is a mini project, that is a Titanic data set, and try to understand how that is working in the next session. And in the subsequent session, we'll start with, algorithmic trading. I will also, don't, if you go through it, I assumed that you don't know anything at all. That's where, watch it, and maybe, in the next week, next Friday, when we have the sessions, that same doubt clearing session, that's when you can ask me. And um, either I have made it too clear that people are understanding fully, they are not asking any questions, or I don't know, they are not seeing or watching the recordings.
Even I don't know why they are not able to. Uh,
Because I hope, Vamsi, the things are very clear, right? The whatever that I explained with much great detail, right?
yes.
So I don't know. Maybe they might ask me individually their questions. That's okay. You are welcome to ask me with our team support. please do ask if any questions that you have. Don't wait for the Friday session. As and when you don't understand, please feel free to contact me through our support team, and I will immediately respond to you. Okay, Vamsi?
Yeah, Sudheendra.
Yeah. Sure. So that's the summary. So maybe in the next sessions, I will try to summarize the rest of the classes that I had taken. Most probably, I will not be touching about the
Project.
project execution.
Are we going to build any project? I mean,
Yeah. One independent project, not from the recordings, but we will try to do for the batch 2 also one more independent project. We'll start from the next Friday. Maybe, I will take one more session so that 2 sessions I will be able to complete one particular project, one of the projects. So I will just circulate, from all the batch 2 students, and I will try to quickly identify which of the projects that if people don't respond, then whoever responds, the top choice will be taken up. So most likely, we are going to do either healthcare, warehouse management, education, and finance. These are the 4. And of course, you can watch those details. I will share the details with all of you, and
in
you
all
can make your choice.
in all the projects, the ETL process is existed, right?
Correct. In even these 2, e-commerce and algorithmic trading, that you have the recordings. You can watch through it, and you can go through that. Full details are available. Yes, ETL process is the basic process. In all of that. Uh, See, Vamsi, the power of Python. After going through it, you will realize that all the other advanced tools are actually, if you know Python, it becomes redundant. uh, uh, even before that, I used to use C, Fortran. A lot of other languages, MATLAB. Of course, each and every language has its own unique advantages and disadvantages. But Python being a library based, extensive libraries are available. It becomes much easy for you to develop anything from the scratch. It's very easy. So that's the whole thing. Yeah. So, Vamsi, so you can ask me any questions that you have as of now. Anybody has any question? Anybody else also who's there? Let me see. Anybody else who's there? No, I think, yeah.
Did you cover another data types like arrays and something few stacks?
Mm, Stack, no, I have not covered the stacks. Maybe, array becomes irrelevant because, arrays, yeah, we did use in one of the projects. Yes, correct. You can go through that, and you can ask me if you have any specific doubts there about array.
And what is the use of other data types like stacks and queue maps?
See, it all depends on your application. Like, for example, stack will become very useful when you have continuous flow of data, right? Like, for example, I will tell you in one of the projects, of course, it was written in Python, so that was completely for a different application. This code was written for data acquisition. Like, we have something called gas chromatograph. There you basically just I'm trying to give you a real life example so that you can understand, correlate how the things are going to happen, right? So gas chromatography, see, I try to explain it to you so that you can also understand how that project is actually working, right? So this gas chromatography is nothing but, you inject certain elements, and based on its weight, it comes out at a different point of time. So there is a different detectors that are there. There is a flame ionization detector, FID. What it does is there is a column, it goes through a certain column. Based on its weight, it comes out at different times. So when it burns, it gives you a particular signal. So that's how at a different times you get a different peaks identifying those particular elements. Okay. Now, what happens is in a real time, you have injected a certain particular, we don't know. Let's say, for example, since there is a I don't want to touch that, but something else, there is some adulteration that is happened in some of the foods or anything of as such, that such, right? Then what do? They inject that in the form of a liquid. It extracts out all the elements, like, it could be, hydrocarbons, different elements. It'll break down into different elements. Each and everything is having its own molecular weight. So they will come at a particular different times. Now, what happens is your GC will have certain data being keep on sending it to your computer, right? So that is time when you should be using stack, where you have keep on data coming in and it is getting into stack, and you use it, and you use it like a pile. You put it from that new data is coming on the top, and keep on extracting out the data, because you know you don't know, in 1 second there could be a peak, there may not be a peak, in the next second there could be two peaks, within that much of information. When you're trying to exchange the information, you will not come to know how much information is actually coming, right? Like, for example, whatever that I had shown you on both the projects, it's a limited data that we have imported. But when you are trying to work with the real-time data, you would be required to have different varieties of things, right? That one of the methods is stack, where you can stack up the data and extract out the data as per your need. Because in the process, you should not lose the data. That is very, very important, right, Vamsi?
Yeah.
So that's how you would be using different kinds of data types. Yes. See, the purpose of this course was that, you should get a confidence that you should be able to do any project, right? That's why, I have done 2 projects. So, um, nothing in this world can be covering you in, if everything can be done, then you are not being hired. You also understand that, right? So
Yes.
any new project, you will be required to go through certain new things, but you should be having that confidence that I can quickly pick it up and proceed. That is very, very important.
Mm.
Okay, Vamsi?
Yeah, Sudhindra.
Yeah. So any other doubts you have?
As of now, I don't have any doubts.
Okay, I don't think so. Anybody else is there and they are interested in asking the questions. Let me see. Maybe stop sharing. Okay.
So is there any group for this group? I mean,
Yeah, we do have groups, but I'm surprised. I have advertised, for batch 1 also, I have requested that if somebody wants to join, they can join, but nobody has joined actually. I think maybe uh, for my own satisfaction, I have to assume that they have been able to understand, and of course I am always available for any doubts that for first batch did have a lot of doubts individually, people asking, but those doubts I have cleared in the subsequent session with great detail, I think. That's why I think people are able to understand with much more. But yeah, any of you can always ask me. Yeah, we will see. Vamsi, maybe what I can do is I can ask my, the support team that if you can be added into that particular group itself, whichever. For batch 2, we have not yet created separate group. Maybe we'll merge one bigger group, so that everybody is there in that one bigger group. You can ask your queries and etc. Right?
at least we can share the thoughts in that group.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to ask my team, and they will try to put it in the same group so that you people can go through it. Yeah. Yes, Vamshi.
Yeah.
So my only request would be that please do practice. Please watch the videos and feel free to ask questions. And I'm trying to make sure that you get all the things that are required. These doubt clearance sessions also I'm conducting for that purpose, so that uh, nothing will should be left behind. Uh, okay. So since Vamshi just I'm saying this for so that whoever watches the record at later point of time, since these question and answer sessions we are making it public so that anybody can see it. We are taking up the question. So all the participants can please anybody who has interested in these courses, you can watch our Raj Informatica website, and if you're interested in the joining our next batch, please feel free and contact our support team. We will be going ahead, and I'm not sure when we would be launching the next batch for Python, because as of now I'm occupied with certain things. Maybe we will see when the next batch will be launched. Once we complete the batch 2, we will announce the next batch date. So Vamsi, so we will be starting the project in the next session. So if you have any specific doubts for these two projects, please try to go through them, all the registered participants for batch 2. And please do ask me the questions and queries that you have from individually on those two projects. But one project, I will do it live, and that will start in the next Friday. So meanwhile, I request all the participants of this, batch 2 also, to be complete all the videos, so that by next Friday we can start one of the projects. Meanwhile, I will float, that opinion, for one of the projects from all the participants of batch 2, so that for batch 2 we will be having all the 3 projects, those 2 projects that are there, and you can generate number of projects that you want. Both the things I have opened, I have kept it in such a way that there are lot of options that you can create and make your own individualized project. I had given certain pointers there in those projects, and that would help you in learning your Python with much more robustness. Okay, thanks, Vamsi. If you have any questions, you can go ahead, or else maybe I will just end the session.
What is generative AI? This is, I think it's out of the box question, right?
No, it's not out of the box. Actually, I did cover in that whatever the session that you are in the last 10th S10 you are seeing, right?
Just now I heard that you are going to conduct the generative AI and machine learning courses.
Yeah. So basically, that's very advanced course. Basically, now it's a booming field that generative AI is the one which is being used everywhere. So we might come up, by the end of October, I might be floating a course based on generative AI, where you can learn those generative AI tools, how to use them that's actually, if you see in the market, that's actually the booming field in artificial intelligence. And right now, all the things, a lot of automation can be done with generative AI.
Oh,
So that, the way the ChatGPT is helping us, it can be, a customer support, and, a lot of, you can do enormous things, you can also, you must have seen this Truecaller's auto answering feature. Do you use Truecaller, Vamsi, by any chance?
yeah.
So in that there is a pro, there is a something they call it, right? What is that pro feature? They give it called AI assist, right? So basically all that happens, it automatically takes the call and answers them, and greets them and says that, okay, he is busy, please specify what is the, all that kind of things are happening with the help of generative AI.
Basically, it's a kind of LLM.
Yeah, correct. It's an extension of LLM.
Okay.
Yeah, Vamshi.
Thanks, Sudheen.
So hope things are becoming, are you liking the course, Vamshi, in general?
Yeah, just I want to upgrade more than this.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that, So as of now, you are working somewhere, Vamshi?
No, just I have resigned in my last company. The working day was August 31st.
Okay. Okay. After that, you are still looking for.
Yeah.
No, I think it's getting recorded. So if you want, if you're comfortable, then only you can share. Otherwise, I can end the session. Then maybe we can. Shall I
Sorry.
end the session?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. I will just stop the recording. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, participants, please do watch the recordings and all that, so that in the next class, we will start doing one of the independent projects again. Okay, thank you.